Hi, my name is Jacqui-lee and welcome to Shadowboxruk. Hi, my name is Jacqui-lee. We're here at BXR and I'm here with Chantelle Cameron. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Do you want them on?
Yeah, I'm good. So, first thing I wanted to say was I apologise. I wasn't allowed backstage at your fight. So the last time, obviously, I saw you was at the Sanchez fight. I wanted to do a post interview with you, and I wasn't able to get hold of you. So I must apologise about that. But let's talk about it. I did feel a little bit, and this is no fault of Savannah's or Clarissa's, but I did feel it was, your post-interview was slightly hijacked. Yeah, talk to me about that.
I'm going to have to have a go at Savannah for that, taking my limelight. No, obviously Clarissa and Savannah were a big fight, so it's good for the sport, ain't it, really? But why didn't Lee eat and get you through? Why didn't Lee eat and get you through backstage? Have a word with him. DM him on Instagram and tell him next time let you through. I'll have a word. Lee, let her through. Shadowbox, London.
Thanks. I mean, it was great to see those two, and obviously they've got a rivalry and everything, but I did feel a little bit like, oh, poor Chantelle, she's had her moment stolen from her. But let's talk about that fight. Fantastic. First of all, we've spoken about your engine before. I mean, shed loads. I nearly said SHIT, but shed loads in the bank. Absolutely shed loads in the bank. The choice of punches, beautiful. At the sixth round, it got to the sixth round, and the doctor and I sort of looked at each other and went, I'm telling you what, she's going to take her out in this round. And then all of a sudden she came back. Were you quite surprised at how durable she was?
The massive respect to Sanchez, because she was so durable. Like, she was taking big shots, but she's a two-time world champion, and she showed why she was a world champion. And to be fair, she probably will be a world champion again. It was a great fight, and like I said, there's so much respect for her. She took some big shots, and she was catching me as well, but longer rounds would have got her out of there, but it is what it is. Women's boxing is 2-minute rounds. It should be 3 minutes, and if it was 3 minutes, I would have 100% got her out of there. So, but very durable, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think that you, just listening to the crowd, you won a whole new group of fans that night. And I have to say, listening to people, and especially men, they were saying how amazing you were as a fighter. And the comments I'm reading online have gone from I would to to how great a boxer you are. I mean, that must be brilliant.
And she'll beat me up. Yeah, obviously women's boxing as well, it's still got to grow, so it's got a long way to go. But I do think, especially my style as well and performances, I feel like I'm an entertaining fighter, not just a woman fighter. As a fighter in general, I'm quite entertaining, because I'll take a shot to give a shot. So I definitely feel like women's boxing is getting better, but obviously it's not there at the moment. It's still got a long way to go, but it's getting there.
So moving forward, you know, we, the fight fans, have been desperate to see you against Katie Taylor, because that would be a phenomenal bout. It was either that or MaCaskill. Now we have heard that Katie Taylor might be fighting Cecilia Brackle. This must be frustrating for you.
It's really frustrating, yeah, because I want to fight Katie. I feel like I can beat Katie. I feel like it'd be a great fight for women's boxing. It'd be great for the fans, and especially for women's boxing, it will get a lot more respect. And it's 100% the fight I want, but that's if it happens. So I won both my mandatories now, so get me them world titles.
The thing is, on the male side, people talk about giving the fight fans what they want. People want to see you with Katie Taylor, they really do, and so. You know, for me, I'm kind of like, where do you go from here? I suppose what I'm asking for. If you don't get that fight, where do you go from here?
For me, that's my dream fight. I want to fight Katie Taylor because she's a legend, and I have so much respect for her. I'm a fan of Katie. Like, I am a fan of Katie. She's an amazing athlete, an amazing boxer. But I just think I beat her. After watching her against Delphine, I feel like my style is what beats Katie Taylor. So obviously it's really frustrating for me because it's a fight that I want, whereas I can go box Katie and I can take away like all of that. I feel like I'll be the one to beat her, but it's kind of out of my hands. So if the fight happened, I'd be over the moon, but I just got to focus on what's in front of me and whatever's next, really.
Have you had any discussions, or not you, but have your team then looked at a plan B, and that would be MaCaskill?
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of know what's going on, but it's not been announced yet. So I've got a big 2020, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's like I said to in most interviews, I'm not boxing for Katie Taylor. It's the fight that obviously I want, the fans want, but I still got my own career to focus on. And I've made it vocal now that I want to box Katie, and I think I beat Katie, but it's out of my hands. Like, I can't force her to fight me. I can't be like, fight me. Like, just go be patient, I guess, and hopefully the teams get the fight made. If the fight doesn't get made, I still carry on boxing. Still go for more world titles.
What's nice is, though, Chantelle, is we've spoken before about how difficult the journey has been, and yet you are proving yourself time and time again, and let's just hope that that avenue opens up at some stage. But let's talk about Delphine Persoon. I hear that she's going into the amateurs now. What are your thoughts on that for the Olympic Games?
It's a shame. I feel like she definitely should have a rematch with Katie. If anyone deserves to fight Katie, it should be Delphine next. That's just my... Oh, shit. Bleep that out. So if anyone deserves a fight with Katie, it should be Delphine. But if that's her choice, that she wants to go to the amateurs, I think it's a mistake, really. I feel like if it was me personally, if I was the champion and I'd say I was in Katie's shoes, I would have demanded that I box Delphine, because just out of the principle was everyone's got their own opinion on that fight. Some people think Delphine won, some people think Katie won. So if I was champion, I would have given Delphine the rematch straight away before anyone else stepped in, because I think that's how it should have been. But obviously I'm not the champion, so.
I think you're totally correct in terms of a lot of people, I think, thought that Delphine had won that. And as we were discussing earlier on with a colleague of mine, I suppose it's down to taste as well. I mean, I've only seen that fight once, and I was kind of like, oh, it's not as clear cut as I thought it was. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think I would have given her, and also just for your own peace of mind, yeah, I would have given her a chance. And I do think it's a shame that she's going, not a shame, because that sounds really bad, and I love the amateurs, but I just think it's a shame for professional boxing that she's going back into the amateurs. But do you think that she's just lost faith in the pro scene?
I imagine she was WBC world champion for years, weren't she? So for years, and I think that's the first time she boxed out of Belgium. And obviously she come and boxed Katie, and she lost. So obviously she's disheartened, and she probably, like, I don't know, like, from the team's point of view, there could have been loads of negotiating. Maybe Delphine didn't get what she thought she deserved. Like, you just don't know. But I do feel like it's a waste. Like, I don't think she should do it. I don't think she's going to amateurs. The amateurs are different to the pros, and I think she's going to find out. You can't just think, well, I'm going to go amateur now. Like, you need to take a good 9 months to adjust to being an amateur again. Amateurs to pros is completely different. So when I was amateur and I turned pro, it took me 2-3 fights to actually start sitting down on my shots and stuff. And I'd been training for a good 6 months as a pro. But you have to change your style completely. And I think even as a professional, you've got to go to the amateur style, and that's going to take months as well. And the Olympic qualifiers, they're around the corner. So I think it's a mistake. But obviously her heart's gone out of the professional game.
Talking about change of style, I mean, we hear quite a lot this whole thing of like when amateurs say I have more of a pro style, and I think that, to be honest with you, that's down to just how you're being trained. I wanted to link that to the Anthony Joshua fight. So let's take that for instance. Number one, did you see the fight? What did you think?
Yeah, so I watched the fight, but I only got 5 rounds because all the pubs were fully packed. So I had to queue to get in and got in for round 5. So it's all great. But yeah, so I seen round 5 to 12. The right tactics. He's getting like a lot of slate and stuff, but at the end of the day, when you're in that ring, you do what you got to do to win. If you've got to win like that, then win like that. At the end of the day, he's one with the belts. He's the one world champion again, so fair play. But obviously, from a fan's point of view, it weren't as exciting as the first fight. But that's because if he boxed the way he did last time, he would have been beat again. So he had to change his style and box more on the move, more upright, picking his shots, moving about. So it was hit, move, because of Ruiz, his style. If he stayed inside, he would have got hurt. So like Anthony Joshua took hardly any shots, hardly any punishment, and then the day done what he done to winning is bring the belts back to the UK. So fair play.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm going to be totally honest. I wondered whether he'd be able to revert back to a more amateur style, in terms of just being pro for so long, his body being attuned to the pro style, and then all of a sudden it's like, gosh, can you in that time, revert back to that style? And he did it. And as a coach, I have to say that I wondered whether he'd be able to do it. However, you're absolutely right. He fought the perfect fight, and like you say, there were a lot of people that were kind of like, oh, it was boring, etc. It's like, but the old saying, hitting and not get hit. Yeah. What did you think of the whole Ruiz? Everyone was saying that he came with an excuse. I mean, what do you think of that?
Obviously, he just lost his world titles. He was heartbroken. He probably was making excuses. But maybe they weren't excuses. Like he come in 3 stone heavier than the previous fight. He'd obviously been out partying and whatever. Like maybe he got complacent. He didn't take it as serious as he should have. Like I don't think people were saying like he shouldn't have been making them comments. But if that's what he was doing and he's basically being honest and straight up, then you can't blame him. Like. That's always going to be a regret for him, but I also think he deserves a rematch as well. It should be a trilogy. That's what I think, because it's 1-1 now, so I have the 3rd fight, and I feel like he deserves it next as well. I think it's only be fair.
I wonder whether he actually... I don't see it as an excuse personally. I just think it was like, he, thinking aloud, going, God, I should have done X, Y, and Z. And to be fair, I think what it was is more about taking responsibility that it was his fault and not his camp, not his father. Everybody else was saying X, Y, and Z about this is what you should be doing. As an athlete, can I ask you, because I wondered whether people say, they dream of stardom and they dream of being at the top of the tree, etc. And that's a really powerful thing to have and hold. Do you think sometimes the fear of losing can be the thing that, I don't know, demotivates you, or I don't know, it felt to me like he didn't, not that he didn't take it seriously, but there was almost like procrastination there.
Yeah. I feel like as an athlete and stuff, like it is scary, the thought of losing, especially when you've just shocked the world. You shock the world and then it's a rematch and you got to live up to that again. You got to live up to that height. There's obviously a lot of pressure on him. So I feel like maybe he just got complacent and there was a bit of fear in there where he did come off the boil. That's personal, I think. There was a bit of a fear factor, the pressure, and he just didn't take it as serious as he should have.
Yeah, I cannot believe he just was like, oh, F it, I'm going to just party and stuff like that. I think there was something deeper there. However, I'm like you, I'd like to see the third fight. I'm always really grateful for you giving us your time. I'm really looking forward to 2020 and what's going to happen in your career. Thank you very much for giving us your time as normal, and I'll see you in 2020. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxruk UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.